The drums of war have reached a fever pitch, calling the warriors of Tamriel to the field of battle. This is the opening line that describes the Alliance War in the alpha stages of the game's development. Basically, you can play as either a warrior of the Dragonfall Covenant, the Ebonheart Pact, or the Aldemiri Dominion to take up arms and fight for control over Cyrodiil, the Imperial City, and the Throne of Tamriel. So PvP in Elder Scrolls Online, as I might call it ESO from time to time, features a three-sided player versus player gameplay that supports hundreds of players on screen at once in an open world fight to control Cyrodiil. Now this is where I have previously commented on the similarity of this style of PvP to that of Guild Wars 2's cross-world player versus player platform. But I think two things need to be said. Obviously, I'm a massive fan of Guild Wars 2 and Elder Scrolls, and it should be said that while I will be comparing aspects of the two games from time to time, I'm not going to be naming names like ESO copied Guild Wars 2, because I think that as technology develops and these large-scale battles become more accessible more of the time, that this style of player versus player was really inevitable to become more mainstream, if you will, in MMORPGs. So that being said, again, similar to Guild Wars 2's PvP style, you can seize, hold, and control the resources of massive strongholds. You can utilise these massive siege weapons to crumble fortress walls and smash through fortified gates, that kind of thing. Now this is another awesome source idea that they came up with, and one which I touched on in a previous video as well, is that your alliance, if your alliance does conquer the Imperial cities, your alliance's top ranked player I should say, could even be crowned Emperor. Now whether or not the player is going to be ranked through PvP rank alone, or perhaps as a mix of both PvE, PvP, world achievements and whatnot, which I think would be awesome, because it makes more sense. I think that an Emperor should be someone that partakes in controlling all aspects of his or her kingdom. Remains to be seen. So either way, I think it would be an interesting idea. Whether it comes to fruition, it is definitely something that I want to keep my eye on, and that I'll talk about in some later videos for sure, as more information comes out about it. Now, moving on to getting into more of the alliances, the first alliance I should say that I'll briefly speak on is the Daggerfall Covenant. If you want to learn more about them, a video should be up soon about this alliance and each of the other alliances. They're all getting an individual video with annotations from this segment as soon as they're finished. The Daggerfall Covenant is comprised of the two provinces of northwest Tamriel, High Rock and Hammerfell, home to the Bretons and Redguards. Now, in what I see is kind of like a subversion, if you will, of traditional fantasy games. The two most humanoid races are actually working with orcs in this alliance. Now, the second of the alliances is the Ebonheart Pact. It consists of former enemies turned allies in northern and eastern Tamriel. The Nords of Skyrim, Dark Elves of Morrowind, and Argonians of Blackmarsh are working together for that alliance. Now the third alliance, the Aldemiri Dominion, is composed of the three races of southern Tamriel, the Wood Elves of Valenwood, the Khajiit of Elsewhere, and the leaders of the Pact, the High Elves of the Somerset Isles. I've just uploaded actually a video regarding the High Elves of Somerset Isles and the Queen at the time the game takes place, Queen Arryn. So you should go check that out if you're kind of interested in that. But yeah, as I mentioned, either soon or right now there will be annotations leading to further explanations of the alliances and whatnot, blah blah blah. So anyway, on to the more important stuff, the gameplay to do with the player versus player. As mentioned before, the Elder Scrolls Online is built to accommodate hundreds of players on screen at once. The three alliances do battle in the region of Cyrodiil, seeking to control the Imperial City within it, and within that, the Ruby Throne of Tamriel. Each alliance must wrest control of strategic territories from the others, including massive fortresses, each with supporting farms, lumber mills and other valuable resources. I'm thinking kind of like mines, that kind of thing. Kind of like a giant Alterac Valley style crossworld PvP, insane fucking crazy ideas going everywhere, that kind of stuff, and spells and shit going off. So obviously they are in true Elder Scroll fashion, trying to create a living, breathing, responsive world within which your actions often, as much as possible, affect the world around you. I believe OMFG Kata, or My Fucking God Kata, I think that's what it's about. I think that's what that name means. Good dude, good guy. He mentioned something along the lines of the open world PvP area isn't going to be small at all. It's actually going to be something like half of the playable area. With this being said, I think it's really important to ask this, like, looking at the map, is it possible that when you play a particular person, or when you play a person within a particular alliance, such as a Daggerfall Covenant, are you going to be restricted to playing within only that region of the map, and the map space that's taken up by the open world PvP area, which is Cyrodiil? Based on the scaled sizes of the alliance regions against that of the central region of Cyrodiil, it may suggest so. If the open world PvP area, which is Cyrodiil, is half of what you can play, it looks like maybe you're only being able to play each area. So as a Daggerfall Covenant, you can only play in their area and the PvP area. Hope that made sense to you guys. But yeah, so obviously this time I'm not really sure how happy I would be about this, but it is very early development. I'm only speculating. I mean, the areas could be humongous anyhow. Like, it could make more sense that you're only staying in your area and the PvP area, but remains to be seen. So the last thing I wanted to touch on in this part of the review is Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls are artifacts of immense power that aid an alliance in the ongoing player versus player battle to control Tamriel. This is done by conferring bonuses and perks to every member of that alliance. So each alliance has a special stronghold in Cyrodiil, kind of like a home stronghold, if you will, where their Elder Scrolls are kept and protected. But enemy alliances can actually break in and take them if they're not guarded properly. Once access is gained and a scroll is taken, it must be taken back across Cyrodiil and placed in that particular alliance's stronghold. Only then are the bonuses of the scroll bestowed upon the thieves and all the members of that alliance. So I'm thinking this is a pretty awesome idea. However, I mean, I would be generally concerned with the possibility of a particular alliance becoming overpowered, for lack of a better word, by having too many scrolls. Perhaps it's just such an overpopulated alliance at one particular time where they just take all the scrolls. So I'm thinking perhaps there should be some kind of refresh system where an alliance can only have each stolen scroll for, say, 3 to 4 or 6 to 7 day period from its point of theft, and perhaps at the end of this period that particular scroll is, say, magically recalled by NPC mages or NPC leaders of the original special stronghold. So obviously it's an interesting thought, and I'll probably speak on this more in the future, as the Elder Scrolls sound as though they will have a pretty large impact on the PvP gameplay. But I mean, on the other hand, this is all definitely obviously all speculation. On the other hand, they could be completely useless, virtually useless, have virtually no PvP impact. Perhaps they're just scrolls that empower siege weapons and player versus environment within the open world area. Regardless, I'd just like to make this the end of part 1 of the Elder Scrolls Online PvP overview. In the next video you can look forward to another brief overview regarding siege weapons, PvP achievements, the scaling and participation system, gold and points, and most interestingly, the ability to become Emperor. So thanks for watching. Subscribe if you like the content. There's obviously a lot more to come. So catch you on the flip side. See where you go out. Yeah.